All right. Thank you for being here this morning, folks, for an update on the water incident on 16th Avenue and Home Road. At today's media availability, we will have Calgary Emergency Management Agency Chief Susan Henry, Director of Water Services Nancy Mackay, and our Mayor Jeremy Farkas. Following the update, we will open it up to some questions, and with that, I'll turn it over to Chief Henry.
Good morning. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. I'm Sue Henry, the Chief of the Calgary Emergency Management Agency, and we're here today to provide an update on a significant water main break that occurred last night along 16th Avenue Northwest. I'm joined today by Director of Water Services Nancy Mackay and Mayor Farkas. Last night, at approximately 8 p.m., the city became aware of a significant water main break along 16th Avenue east of Sarcee Trail and 16th Avenue Northwest interchange. The break caused significant flooding, requiring emergency response from the Calgary Police Service and the Calgary Fire Department, who rescued several motorists who were trapped in their vehicles. The city's water services team also responded right away and have remained on site throughout the night. By early this morning, the water team had shut the water to the affected area and identified the location of the break. Further assessment is now underway. Given the size of the break and its impacts, we activated the Municipal Emergency Plan and we have opened the Emergency Operations Center. Stage 4 water restrictions are now in place. This means that outdoor water use, such as flooding rinks, snowmaking, or other large outdoor water use is currently prohibited in the city. Indoor facilities, such as pools, rinks, and recreation facilities are advised to implement their water reduction plans. While the water remains safe to drink in most of the city, Alberta Health Services has declared a boil water advisory for portions of Parkdale, Montgomery, and Point McKay neighborhoods. Updated maps are available on calgary.ca. All residents and businesses within these areas are advised to bring their tap water to a rolling boil for 1 full minute prior to any consumption. This includes water for drinking, water for brushing teeth, cleaning any raw foods, preparing infant formulas or juices, or making ice. Water that you're using for bathing or laundering clothes does not need to be boiled. More information on the boil water advisory can be found at calgary.ca or on the Alberta Health Services website. We are currently deploying water wagons to the communities that have been affected by the boil water advisory, and those locations will also be posted on calgary.ca. This advisory will remain in effect until further notice, and we are working closely with Alberta Health Services to resolve any concerns. The road is currently closed at 16th Avenue Northwest and Sarcee Trail in both directions, and motorists are asked to avoid the area and follow all detour signs. I want to take a moment to recognize that this event, given our recent history, may cause stress for a lot of Calgarians. While we do not have all of the answers today, our teams are working around the clock to protect Calgarians, to protect our water system, to keep it safe and flowing, and to restore services as quickly as we can. We will continue to update you regularly on the situation, and updates will continue to be available on calgary.ca and the city's social media channels. I'll now turn the podium over to Director Mackay for an update on the status of repairs and our water supply.
Good morning, and thank you, Chief Henry, for that overview. As mentioned last night, we received a notice of a break and a drop in water pressure within the system. Crews got to work right away to contain the water flow. As of this morning, I'm happy to share that the water flow has been stopped, and we've quickly been able to locate the specific break location on 16th Avenue, east of Sarcee Trail, 16th Avenue Northwest interchange. This is a catastrophic break along the same feeder main that broke in June 2024, on which we made a series of repairs. As you know from before, Calgary relies on the Bearpaw South Feedermain to transport the majority of its water from the Bearpaw Water Treatment Plant, the largest of the 2 plants in our city. With the Feedermain out of service, and based on certainly our learnings from last time, we've had to make emergency adjustments, and we're able to move water differently within our network to flow water from our smaller Glenmore Water Treatment Plant throughout the city. We are looking at doing more of that as best we can to get water to where it's needed. What does this mean? And we're asking again. This means that we're relying on less water to meet the demands of the entire city and the surrounding region and communities that rely on City of Calgary water. In order to make sure that we have enough water for essential needs, we are asking all Calgarians and residents of the communities of Strathmore, Airdrie, Chestermere, and Tsuut'ina Nation to take the following important and very impactful actions to help us conserve water at this time. Please limit your showers to 3 minutes. Flush toilets only when necessary. Run dishwashers and washing machines only when they're full. They sound like small things. They make a huge difference for us during this time. I'd like to show you a map of the break location. Right on the screen, you should be able to see that. And I want to let you know that with the spare parts that we've had and our readiness with our emergency response plans, crews are preparing to dig. They're mobilizing right now to drain. We are moving quickly from the learnings we've had before. These are the next steps that are very important to get us to restore the service that everyone is relying on. We will continue to work around the clock to repair the pipe as quickly as possible. This pipe burst because of a rapid drop in pressure, and when it caused a rapid drop in pressure, we know that this was noticed in some areas, and as a result, that has caused the boil water advisory, and our colleagues at AHS, as well as Calgary Fire Department through the night, and are still continuing to go door to door to let folks know in Parkdale, Montgomery, and Point K, the area where we are, the Alberta Health Services has put a boil water advisory into place. This pipe is very important to our water supply. With it out of service, our crews have also had to work very quickly through the night, changing how water flows in our underground system to keep water moving. Because we can't get nearly as much water transported out of the Bearpaw treatment plant, we are relying heavily on Glenmore. Again, this means less supply. I want to assure you that our teams are doing everything they can around the clock. We have emergency response plans, and they're there doing everything they can to restore this water service and keep the water flowing to the city and our neighbours. I want to sincerely thank you for your help in managing our demand to get us back into supply. Thank you very much. I'll turn it over to Mayor Farkas.
Thank you, Ms. Mackay and Chief Henry, as well as all of you for being here in person. I want to acknowledge, firstly, my council colleagues. We have Councillor McLean, Councillor Ward, Councillor Tyers, Councillor Ewell, Councillor Kelly, Councillor Atkinson. Our entire city council has been engaged through the night in support of administration's efforts to respond to this. First, while we are asking folks to take responsible voluntary measures, we want all Calgarians to have the confidence that we've stabilized the immediate situation. We've taken the steps to ensure that there was no loss of life, that the evacuations were performed appropriately by a Calgary Fire Department, as well as Calgarians should have the confidence to be able to celebrate 2026. So to be clear, New Year's Eve is not cancelled. We can still proceed, but we have to do so in a way that recognizes the constraints that Calgarians exist in right now. So while the city is still assessing the situation, we're committed to providing information as it becomes available, because Calgarians deserve to know what is happening and when. And I want to recognize the great efforts of our emergency services as well as the EOC. Downstairs, there is countless dozens of individuals who've been working hard throughout the night to be able to respond to this. And the fact that we're so much further ahead of where we were last time that this happened is a great testament to the efforts that they've been making. I want to recognize as well that there's some very significant questions and concerns that Calgarians are going to be raising around this, given that this is not the first time that this has happened. We have three immediate focuses. The first was to ensure no loss of life, ensuring that there was no injuries of the individuals who are impacted, and ensuring as well that there's safe, clean drinking water deployed to the approximately 3,100 dwellings that are under that boil water advisory. Secondly, ensuring that our first responders have the support, the equipment, the infrastructure in place to be able to do their initial site assessments as well as to begin to go to repairs. And then thirdly, on behalf of the City of Calgary citizens, ensuring accountability for next steps, making sure that we are taking the appropriate steps to ensure that this does not happen again in the future. So again, the three areas of focus for us were immediately addressing the safety concerns, secondly, supporting the first responders, and then third, addressing that accountability and governance piece, given that this was not the first time that this has happened. So while the city has activated our stage 4 water restrictions, this is going to impact outdoor water use. Calgarians should know that we can still engage in our New Year's plans and celebrations. And I know an important question on everyone's mind is, what does this mean for me? Right now, we're aware that it's New Year's Eve. And while we're asking folks to take responsible voluntary measures, we want you to have that confidence to be able to bring in 2026. As we take these voluntary measures, we will be continuing to inform and educate the public about the impact and the severity of the break. We're going to continue to provide more information and updates as soon as we possibly can. But I want to really reinforce that message of thanks to the front line, the Calgary Fire Department, EMS, Calgary Police Service. This was an organization that really rallied. This was a community that rallied to ensure that the immediate safety concerns were addressed. We know that we have aging infrastructure, and we've learned some very significant lessons as a city around fixes, around communications, as well as in particular how we can best support residences and especially impacted businesses through this. I've already been in touch with the Premier, several provincial cabinet ministers who've offered their full support, as well as been in touch with Member of Parliament Corey Hogan, and we'll likely need a more fulsome conversation about ensuring that Calgarians can access and depend on the critical infrastructure that we rely on every day. So our focus as a council is to be united in providing that information, ensuring the accountability for the governance of the process going forward as we land on a permanent fix, as well as ensure that the immediate safety concerns are met by Calgarians. So again, thank you to my councillor colleagues who are here with us today. Thank you to the incredible team of first responders who sprang into action over the holidays. We have stabilized the immediate situation and we're taking those steps to rectify this. So thank you so much, and I understand that we'll all be available for questions.
That's right.
Chief.
Before we get to questions, I just want to point out that the image that Director Mackay was pointing to is in your inboxes, and it will be also in the next news release, which shows the boil water area.
There we go.
If you could identify...
It's been a while since I was here last.
You could identify your news outlet, who your question's for. We'll start with there.
Chief Henry, did you want to start this one? Yeah, please.
Darren Cross, sorry.
Darren Krause, Livewater, Calgary. Given the last situation with the Bearpaw Feedermain, I'm assuming that this pipe was being monitored as was prescribed before?
Yes, the pipe was being monitored, absolutely, and I will turn a further answer to my colleague from Infrastructure, Chris Graham.
Thank you. Yes, the pipe was being monitored continuously with acoustic fiber optic equipment, and the system was working normally at the time of the failure. There was no wire snaps or any evidence before the failure, but the system was being fully monitored.
Okay, so I guess you took away my second question, which was, did we notice anything abnormal from that monitoring that would have indicated this was imminent?
No, there was nothing in the monitoring or in the operation of the pipe, the flows, the pressures that would have indicated an issue before the pressure dropped at the control room.
Wilson, CTV.
Just wondering, was this, to clarify, was this section at all the pipe that San Diego sent us, or the Yankees pipe whose was external to that?
Thanks. The San Diego pipe was used in a different area of repair. So that piece of particular pipe is already in the ground. It was a piece of pipe that was installed in 1975 that failed.
Maybe a follow-up maybe for the mayor's market, or if maybe it's too late or briefly after this, can you tell us exactly what needed to be rescued? Are there any injuries? Can you turn go over that?
Yeah, Chief.
So we are aware that when the pipe initially broke, there were some people in vehicles that were in the area. So we had 13 people in 8 separate vehicles that were rescued by the Calgary Fire Department and the Calgary Police Department, and we can confirm that there were no injuries.
Space, email.
Can you give us a sense for what we're in for the next few weeks? How long restrictions might last, even preliminary suggestions?
Thank you for the question, and I understand absolutely folks have questions as to what we're in for. We don't have eyes. As I mentioned, we're draining that pipe, and then we will prepare to dig our next steps. What I can tell you is when we get eyes on that, we will have a better understanding of what the repair will take. What I can tell you is we've learned a tremendous amount. We've identified where the break is much quicker. We have emergency response plans. We have parts. We are ready to roll, and so we will lift restrictions as soon as we can, and a repair, can depending on what we get in there, 7 to 10 days is what we looked at when we had one repair there, but we don't know until we get eyes. And what I want to do is make sure that we're giving you the best information as soon as we have it. So I understand people want to have more details on that, but we have to locate, dig, drain, replace, then fill it up, test it for drinking water quality, backfill, and then move the water through the system. We go fast, but we don't go so fast that we're not protecting water quality, which is absolutely essential for Calgarians. So we know how to do that. We work very closely with Alberta Environment and Alberta Health Services to make sure we're meeting all the regulations that are required. So we will keep you updated on the latest numbers as soon as we have them.
Say to residents of Calgary whose faith in the infrastructure may be shaken by this. The same water main seems to be a very similar situation. So.
Absolutely, and I can appreciate that. And from a number of perspectives, it is, even for our staff, it's that same piece of infrastructure. We did many repairs. We all went through that for a summer. We've been monitoring that because we know this pipe is not it's not perfect. We have plans and ready to replace this pipe. Those things take time to do a complete replacement, and so that's why we've had monitoring emergency response plans, and we are ready, knowing how critical this is until we get a full replacement. So please know that we have an incredibly dedicated team. They are out there doing their best and doing competent, excellent work to get this back into service for folks. So we're with folks, and we really thank everyone for helping us out so we can get that back into service.
Can I jump in on that?
You bet, absolutely.
I got Scott and then you.
And just to follow up on this, and I'm a Calgarian just like everybody else. It is extremely frustrating to see this happen to our city again. Our council is united in taking bold action on this. We are going to be taking those steps necessary to be able to address the redundancy. We have about 60% of Calgary's water goes through this main line. We are working hard to action that, as well as hold our city administration accountable to ensure that the steps from the independent report are actioned. This is a council that's wasted no time and delivering in terms of our campaign commitments. It's very clear that all of us ran on holding our city administration accountable, ensuring that we're funding the needed infrastructure. And that's really going to be our focus over the coming days here. We have learned from the previous time that this happened. Within the first few hours, we're already days ahead of what happened the previous time around. And in a bigger picture, we lose about 25% of City of Calgary's water due to leakage, due to the aging nature of our infrastructure, wooden pipes, lead pipes, asbestos pipes. Our council is taking bold action to ensure that our city administration is held accountable, but that we're also funding the needed improvements, as well as better improving the governance model. The pipes are one question, but also the people in the organization need to be improved. So we are taking action on both of those fronts.
Scott Strasser, Post Media.
Yeah, first question, not sure if anyone can answer this quite yet, but I was wondering if we knew what the chloride levels were like at this particular part of 16th Avenue. I remember that Obviously, concentrations weren't uniform along the roadway last time, but at this particular part where the break occurred, can you speak to what the chloride concentration?
We do not have that information available today. We remain focused on the life safety aspect and understanding what's happening at this time.
Follow-up, most likely for you, Ms. McKay, is can you speak to the state of the below-ground reservoirs right now that we used to, that we flushed the pipe last time after?
Reservoirs.
Yes, right.
Thank you. One of the critical things in our water system is our reservoirs that you may not notice that are underground around the city. Those are there for fire protection, and we've got water that is essential for those services, and we are monitoring those closely. Certainly, we lost a lot of water when the leak occurred, and so some of those dropped. They are slowly came up to the night. We have one that we're watching a bit more closely, and the teams are working to get more water in that area, but they are in good levels at the moment.
I don't know who should answer this. I'm hoping for an answer. Do you think, and then I do want somebody to do this, well, Mr. Mayor, is the pipe is being monitored continuously. The system is working. There was no snaps. We've learned a tremendous amount. We've done many repairs. Do you think, this is the second time this has happened, we still don't have the final report from the first time. The first report, which was not the final report, really said nothing here, nothing to see here, nobody to blame, nobody's accountable, we won't finger point. So with the context of all that, water main break, unsatisfactory assessment of the first water main break, second water main break, city response so far to the water main break is, we did everything right, and it just happened. God did it. So what do you think that's a satisfactory response for Calgarians on New Year's Eve to hear that yet again the same pipe has had, in the words of city administration, a catastrophic break?
Well, the status quo isn't acceptable. It's not acceptable for myself or my council colleagues. It's not acceptable for administration. And it's not acceptable to Calgarians. And that's why we're taking needed action. This is a much more complex fix than going in and providing a few patches. I know in a couple hours or maybe tomorrow, there's going to be more detailed technical briefing in terms of what we knew, when we knew it, and what specific actions are being done in terms of the building of the twin line. Ultimately, it's going to be requiring a brand new line to be able to reduce the reliance on this specific section. But rest assured, we took immediate steps to ensure that Calgarians were safe through the immediate emergency. We've stabilized the immediate emergency, and we are pushing hard on the governance and accountability piece to ensure that our council is united to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
Yeah, we heard that last time, and it did happen again. So the confidence, and it wasn't, you weren't the mayor, but it did happen.
Well, we have a brand new majority council. None of us ran because we were...
Responsibility. That's what people always ask with these sorts of things. They ask who is responsible when you have fatality inquiries, when you have ASIC reports from the police. It's always a question. The bottom line question is, how did this happen? So far today, we're being told what happened. The system was working. There were no snaps. It just sort of happened, which is exactly what we were told on day one of the June 2024 water main break from Mr. Bouchard. It was exactly the same. This is Groundhog Day. Can't tell Calgarians more, not about the emergency response, but more about how the hell did this happen again?
As mayor, public safety squarely lands on my shoulders, collectively as a city council. And that's why we're taking the needed action to ensure that our city administration is held accountable, that we're accelerating as fast as humanly possible the ultimate build out and the replacement of this pipe. It's not going to be a simple or easy process, but we've done harder things than this. We've stabilized the immediate emergency situation. And I understand it is so frustrating to be in this situation. I can't imagine what it was like to be standing on one of those cars waiting rescue from the Calgary Fire Department. But the key thing is that the help came. We are rallying, we are united as a city organization across all the various agency partners, alongside industry, alongside procurement. We're working as fast as possible to release ultimately that report. But it says something, it says all things that people shouldn't be surprised about. We have to fix the pipe, and until we completely replace the pipe, this is a ticking time bomb that Calgarians will continue to live with. So we are taking those active steps. We are much more prepared this time around, but you can rest assured, none of my council colleagues ran on being satisfied with the status quo. The status quo is not acceptable for any of us. It's not acceptable for administration, and it's surely not acceptable to the public, and we're taking immediate action.
Rick, I think our Chief Administrative Officer, David Duckworth, has some.
Thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to say that my team and I personally are 100% accountable. We're accountable for this break. We're accountable for our infrastructure. We're accountable for all the services that we provide to Calgarians. Why did this happen again? We know that the Bearpaw South Feedermain needs to be replaced. We are actively working on designs. We're in the process of recruiting hiring a contractor to start that replacement work. It's going to take some time. You're going to get additional technical details tomorrow, but we are actively working to make sure that this main is replaced. Again, myself, my team, we're 100% accountable for all the services that we provide Calgarians.
With that, we'll take 2 more questions. We've got Brendan Colbert from CBC.
Mayor, just as we enter a new year, as we look ahead to a new 4-year budget cycle, how does this affect your budget priorities when it comes to infrastructure spending going forward?
Well, we have a council that's taken decisive action, rallying together as a team, addressing affordability challenges for Calgarians, taking first steps to address blanket rezoning. This is a city council that's wasted no time on campaign or fulfilling our campaign promises, and that includes maintaining our essential infrastructure. This is an existential challenge, risk, and opportunity for us as a city, and we cannot afford to let our foot off the gas. This council will be relentless in ensuring that this is addressed by the end of our council term, much sooner than hopefully the independent report is recommending. We are on the cusp of being a city of 2 million people. We talk about the service infrastructure, housing challenges associated with that, but the fundamental responsibility of our municipal government is public safety. It's clean drinking water. It's the nuts and bolts of running the City of Calgary. And speaking for my colleagues, we're all united in terms of challenging our city administration to that high performance culture, to not take no for an answer. We are going to be relentless and get this done so that Calgarians can rest easy to knowing that they can rely on safe and clean drinking water. I'd also just want to again thank you to our amazing first responders, our front line, who sprang into action to be able to address what must have been a very scary situation for the people involved. We've stabilized the immediate situation, and we're going to speak in the coming day or so about the specific next steps in terms of the overall fix to the line, as well as some of the immediate patchwork that's going to be required.
And I'm just curious what this will mean for the Bearpaw South Improvements project. Do we know if this will affect that work or the timeline?
Thank you. That project's been tendered and it's moving forward as fast as possible. And the team working on it will look for every opportunity to improve the schedule. But yeah, this break doesn't necessarily doesn't impact the delivery of the project. It provides an incentive to keep moving it forward at as fast a pace as possible.
Last question to CTV.
This one's for Mayor Farkas, if you don't mind. You spoke a little bit about funding there. I was talking to UC engineering talk this morning. She mentioned that there's been a massive drop in funding from federally and provincially for our infrastructure. Are you able to talk about that and how that might have affected our ability or our ability going forward to fund these projects?
Yeah, our council spoke at great length during our budget process about the infrastructure deficit, not just water pipes, but also rec facilities, transportation, transit, all of the nuts and bolts that city relies on. We've had some very good initial conversations with my federal and provincial counterparts about ways that they may be able to assist in the immediate emergency sense, but also in the long term around stable and predictable funding sources. Our council in our most previous budget debates allowed for over $15 million of brand new capital funding streams specifically for maintenance. We're going to be having the conversation over the next coming days and weeks about how we can possibly accelerate the construction. We will spare no expense. We will get this done for Calgarians. We will be relentless. We'll hold our city administration accountable. And ultimately, we will get this done for Calgarians so that none of us have to be in this situation ever again.
With that, thank you very much for all the work you do. It's the end of our media